Paige here.
Well, as you can tell, you heard the one and only voice of Paige, arguably one of the best women wrestlers of all time. I definitely enjoyed watching her. I didn't watch her much in NXT. I definitely didn't see her before NXT. That's for damn sure. I wonder how easy it is to watch European wrestling. I'm sure it wasn't easy at all back in 2011 or before that. All right, so we got another random ass daily match review from RW Podcast Resident Old Guy, and this one is going to feature Paige. But we're going to go back. We're going to go way back. We're going to go back before she even got to NXT. Way before she became the first NXT champion and Divas champion. We're going to go back to February 2011, where Britney Knight, as she was known at the time, would fight Sweet Saraya, who in real life and kayfabe is Britney Knight's mother. Okay, so before I go into the Knight Dynasty breakdown here, I'm going to talk about Paige's debut, and I guess the rules or the age limits in Europe was a little bit different, because Saraya Jade Bevis, which is Paige's real name, she debuted as Britney Knight at the age of 13 in 2005. So there was supposed to be some kind of triple threat match or a 6-man tag. I looked it up and I forget which one it was. Either way, a wrestler didn't show up, so her dad said, Britney Knight, Saraya, whatever, get in there. And she took off from there. That debut took place in the World Association of Wrestling. I think it was in England. In fact, it was in England. I'm sorry. I just don't remember where. And by the time she was 14, she was wrestling all over Europe in places such as Scotland, Wales, France, Turkey, Denmark. She was all over the place, and talk about like ducks, like a duck to water. That's how she took this, and it's no surprise when you see her in the ring as Paige, and like you go watch a video, and you can just see how good she got. Because she was probably that good when she was probably not even 20 yet when she had this match here, I think. So she was 13 in 2005. That was 6 years later. Yeah, she was 19. Go figure. All right, so Paige was known as Britney Knight, and she was feuding with her. She had like an on again, off again feud with her mother, Saraya Knight. I don't remember Saraya Knight's real name, but in the WAW and the World Association of Women's Wrestling, WAWW, Saraya Knight was known as Sweet Saraya. So either or, the name is the same. Okay, so this match is basically not Paige, but it's Britney Knight versus Sweet Saraya, and so I'm going to get into the like a little bit of their rivalry in 2011 because that seems like when it peaked. But how this match came to be, I don't know. I couldn't find any information on it. So I'm taking up a lot of time here, but I had to just lay down some like a small little preface to this. Like I said, I don't know how this match came to be. So in the aftermath, I'm going to talk about some of Britney Knight's success in Europe, and I'm going to talk about like a little synopsis of the Knight Dynasty on again, off again rivalry, and we're going to go ahead and get to the introductions of this match. It's in, I don't even know where this was. I couldn't find any information, no specific date other than the February 2011. And we see Britney Knight coming out, and she's obviously the baby face. She's high-fiving the crowd on her way to the ring, and she's clapping to try to get people engaged and all that stuff. Oh, speaking of the ring, I mean, this has got to be the smallest ring I have ever seen. From what Chris told me, Britney Knight's dad built the ring himself, so I guess he just didn't have enough material. Anyway, so like I said, Britney Knight, she's engaging with the crowd, and she's showing the same charisma she would have down the line as Paige, and I mean, you can see it. So she gets in the ring, and she shakes hands with the ref and the ring announcer, and then Saraya Knight comes out. Sweet Saraya comes out, as she would want to be called. And she comes out to the song Faint by Linkin Park, which is a really cool song. I don't know if it's a song for a heel, but maybe there's some meaning behind it. I don't know. Usually when I think of a song for a heel, it's more menacing and kind of like, it's a foreboding kind of thing. Like, here comes, evil, right? But I digress. Okay. Yeah, so she's obviously the heel here. She's not interacting with the crowd unless it's like, like she glares at somebody or she's talking trash or whatever. So she gets the mic, and the audio isn't the best as far as picking up the mic from the ring, and not to mention the accents are kind of they're not as accessible to me. I wasn't able to pinpoint everything. But the few things I got out of it, and it's probably the gist of the whole promo for Sweet Saraya was, I have no problem slapping any one of you in the mouth. Okay, good stuff. And she points at Paige, and I think she says that is a slapper or a snapper. I'm not sure. It's probably some British slang. I'm not sure. And she says, I'm the only lady in this ring. And she called everybody pikeys. Again, probably some slang I am sure that I'm not familiar with, and I'm even going to try to figure it out. It's still interesting. And then Britney grabs the mic from Saraya and says, there is only one chant that will shut this woman up. And, okay, again, based on the accent and the audio, I'm not sure if Paige says don't or go. But according to what she says, like, there is only one chant that will shut her up, and that is don't, or something, like I said. And the crowd started chanting some word that had like a long O, I couldn't tell. And then for some reason she gets a "Who lets the dogs out" chant. Who, whoa, I'm sorry I even brought it up. Sorry. Here's an earworm for you. Don't be mad if you start singing it. Okay, so both women get introduced, and so Britney Knight is ready. Sweet Saraya is ready. The ref gets the bell. The ref gets the bell rung, and here we go. All right. So Britney gets a Britney chant right off the bat. She starts to chant with the crowd, and Saraya's not impressed. She's standing in the ring, just like with her arms on her hips and looking like yeah, whatever. And Saraya will yell at the crowd, just to make sure that she gets her heat in, which is a good thing to do. They get a lockup, clean break. Lock up in the ropes, clean break. A cheater chant breaks out because apparently Saraya was pulling some hair on that last lockup. Another lockup, and Britney slaps Saraya in the chest. Britney Irish whips Saraya and hits a side kick to Saraya's gut. And Britney claps to the crowd. You're going to hear a lot of claps from Britney, and it's going to be weird when she does it at certain points. And she'll start to fire up, and you'll hear about it. Let's see. We are down to side heel kick. Side headlock by Britney. Sorry, my own handwriting sucks. Saraya throws Britney off the ropes. Britney dodges a clothesline and an elbow, and then nails Saraya with a drop kick. Saraya ducks out of the ring after the drop kick. Britney turns to clap to the crowd, and then Saraya jumps Britney from behind. So, classic heel move. Jump the babyface from behind. Now the babyface is in peril. Imagine that. Heat. Wow. Saraya Irish whips Britney into the corner and then follows it up with a hip attack. Britney goes down. She's basically sitting down now in the corner. And then Saraya hits Britney with what looked like a drop kick to her crotch. And I wasn't sure. Saraya says to the crowd, "Who's the greatest?" And of course she gets a lot of boos and heckles and all that good shit. Saraya hits a body slam to Britney, followed up with a double leg drop to Britney and she gets a 1 count. Saraya hits Britney with an X Factor for a 2 count. Saraya does the "it was 3" when it obviously wasn't. And, that makes me cringe, because obviously it wasn't 3. I mean, it goes and there wasn't a 3. So, duh. Come on, Saraya, you're a veteran. Count. As Britney is selling, a Britney chant breaks out. Saraya hits Britney with a suplex. All right, Britney starts to fire up, and the way she fires up is that she starts to slap the mat, and that's going to come into play a little bit later. As far as like me, with my observations of like what of what was going on at the time, and I'll bring that up later. But like I said, Britney does a lot of slapping the mat here to get the crowd fired up. So while Britney's firing up, Saraya comes in and locks in a single leg Boston Crab. And Saraya starts using the rope for leverage, and the usual referee this gets there right at the wrong time, and Saraya's already let go over and over again. And I just keep noticing this ring is so small. Like, there was times where, like, I was thinking, Britney, just reach out. The ropes are right there. And, like, compared to the rings you see in regular WWE, like, there is no middle of the ring here. I mean, you can, if you're tall enough, you're going to reach one side of the ring. You can reach both sides of the ring just by laying down if you're tall enough. Makes me wonder about the timing too. You have to like really, really get practice and like work in these small rings. The timing has to be spot on, and there's a lot of good timing in this match. And it just comes from practice. Saraya locks in an STF for like about a second, lets it go, and then locks in a full Boston Crab. Saraya turns to the crowd, and Britney tries to. Saraya lets go of the Boston Crab, and then turns to the crowd, and then Britney tries a schoolboy and gets a 2 count. Serena shoves Britney to the mat, and then locks in an armbar. Britney keeps hitting the mat to fire up the crowd, like I said before. And the first thing you think of is that Britney just tapped out, right? But apparently, like I said, there could be different rules and angling. So, but Britney would do this over and over again. And the first time, every time, I kept thinking Britney just tapped out, but match kept going. So let's keep going. Britney, while still in the armbar, would kick up and is able to lock in a side headlock on Saraya. Britney goes for a Russian leg sweep, but Saraya blocks it and flips Britney to the mat and puts in a wrist lock. Looks really good. All this stuff looks really good. Nice and smooth. Doesn't look like it's fake. This looks like a good wrestling match. For someone who's 19, I mean, she's really getting led by Saraya here. Saraya's calling all the spots probably. And so far, so good. All this stuff looks good. Nice and crisp. And believable. Looks really good. Britney again slaps the mat to fire up the crowd again. I think she's tapping out, but she's tapped out twice now, so Saraya's won twice, right? Britney kicks up again and applies a wrist lock and then an arm wringer on Saraya. Britney hits Saraya's arm a few times while maintaining the wrist lock. Saraya picks up Britney in a fireman's carry and slams Britney, but Britney maintains the wrist lock on Saraya anyway, and then transitions into an armbar, and then back into a wrist lock. So like a little bit of transition here. Britney's trying to keep the, obviously she's got, the arm is a weakness now for Saraya, so she's staying on it. Good stuff. Saraya pokes Britney in the eye. Boo, right? Boo. The crowd did boo for that. And then she applies another wrist lock of her own. This crowd is really loud. I mean, this building is really small, and you can hear the echoes, and pretty much whenever they speak up, it's hard for me to understand what they're saying because of the accent, but this crowd is hyped, and so therefore I'm having fun because I love hyped crowds. And it just gets you excited. It's really good stuff. Where am I at here? Okay, so poked in the eyes, wrist lock. Okay, Britney pushes Saraya into a corner and then hits Saraya with a monkey flip out of the corner, but Saraya maintains the wrist lock. Really good stuff here. So Britney keeps tapping. This thing is funny. She keeps slapping the mat to try to fire herself up, and looks like she's tapping. Saraya hyperextends Britney's arm, and Britney keeps tapping. I'm just laughing out loud about it. I'm just enjoying it. I think it's hilarious. Saraya pushes Britney to a corner, punches Britney in the gut 4 times, and places Britney on the top rope. Saraya nails a suplex on Britney from Brett's rope for a 2 count. Look really good. Like I said, everything's looking really smooth right here. I'm enjoying this match. Saraya whips Britney off the ropes and hits Britney with a clothesline. And then Saraya nails Britney with a back elbow off the ropes. Look really good. Good stuff here. Jeez, I can't say it enough. Saraya whips Britney off the ropes, and then Britney ducks 2 clotheslines and hits a crossbody on Saraya. But Saraya breaks the count with her feet on the ropes. Really good. That's actually a really good idea. With this small ring, you're able to actually get out of pinfalls like that. And those big rings in WWE, you won't be able to do that. But in this ring, if you're practiced enough, that's something you got to keep in your mind. Very good, smart stuff here. I like the booking and the spot calls here. Britney hits Saraya with a scoop slam. Britney places Saraya over her knee and for some reason spanks Saraya's ass. I guess Saraya's been a bad girl, right? Let's see here. Britney goes for a pin, but again, Saraya stops the count with her feet in the ropes. Britney claps to the crowd, as she's wont to do. Saraya hits Britney in the gut a couple times. Again, Britney's pandering to the crowd, but she pays for it when Saraya comes and jumps her, from behind. And one of these dumb babyfaces is going to learn, right? Saraya whips Britney into a corner and then monkey flips Britney out of the corner. Let's see here. Saraya mocks Britney by clapping to the crowd. And then, so Britney does her patented slap to the mat to fire up the crowd, but at least she's not tapping out this time. Saraya whips Britney into the corner. Saraya goes for a monkey flip, but Britney blocks and then nails. But Britney blocks and then kind of locks Saraya up in some kind of package, and then she ends up nailing a package DDT, wham! And at 10 minutes, 25 seconds, Britney gets the 1, the 2, and the 3. Match is done. The daughter beats the mother. And actually, this match was pretty fun. Okay, so after the match was over, Britney interacts with the crowd while Saraya sells in the ring. The crowd serenades Saraya with a chant. I couldn't figure out what they were saying, but like Saraya was reacting to it, but I couldn't tell. It was that introduction from the, is that chant from the introductions that I couldn't tell, that long O sounding word. I don't know what it was. So Britney is walking away, but Saraya is interacting with the fans a little bit. She's talking trash and saying she'll beat somebody up. Then for some reason, she goes over to a fan and just like throws herself in his lap and starts to kiss him. I'm not sure what that was, but good for that guy. Saraya walks to the back, and this video cuts to black. All right. So this match was good. I enjoyed it. Was it the match of the year? Nah, probably not. There was a little weird things that, like, maybe England wrestling is a bit different. All the spots look good, though. I'm not saying this match sucked. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm not trying to make fun of it. There's something different for me to see. I've never seen British wrestling. It's not even the same. What do they call that style that like Pete Dunne does? Bruiserweight stuff, or I don't know what they call it. Anyway, but I enjoyed this match. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It did look a little hokey at times with Britney forever trying to fire up and clapping and slapping the mat. As much fun as it was, it looked a little silly. But like I said, the lack of a story here kind of took away from it. So that's why I knocked a few points off. They have a better match down the line, which I'm going to describe in a few minutes. That was like probably the match I would rather have seen. No offense, Chris, but I'm not sure if you could have found it anywhere. But still, it was really nice to see Paige before she was Paige. And the match was a 7, maybe 7.5. We'll upgrade it a little bit. We'll go 7.5. Yeah, it did suck. I think Saraya is really good at calling spots, and Britney Knight, she's already all over Europe by now, so she's already taken the continent by storm. So while we're on that topic of Britney Knight, this version of Saraya Jade Bevis's character, I'm going to talk about some of the belts she won between 2009 and 2011. So bear in mind that Britney Knight made her debut in 2005, so it took about 4 years to really, hone her skills, get her character right, and get the opportunities, perhaps. So I'm going to start in 2009 with some of the belts that she won, and this is actually really impressive here. And remember, she was 13 when she debuted, so she's 17 in 2009. Okay, so the first title she ever won, at least that with what Wikipedia told me anyway. Go Wiki. All right, so it's called Hertz and Essex Women's Title. I'm going to shorten it to HEW later. She would win the World Association Women's Wrestling British Title. It's still 2009. She would win the Real Deal Women's Title, the Real Quality Wrestling RQW Women's Title, and a champ versus champ with her HEW title on the line against a woman named Jetta. I think it was Jetta. So that was just 2009. So right at this point, she's either won or lost 3 belts or 4 belts, and she at some point she had 2 at the same time here. Well, she carries the HEW title into 2010, where she would lose it eventually. But at the same time, she teams with her mom to win the Premier Wrestling Federation Ladies Tag Team title. So at this point, I want to say, because I don't know when she lost some of these belts, like the Real Deal Wrestling title or the Women's title, or the RQW Women's title. I'm not sure when she lost those. I would assume it was that same year, but it's hard to tell. So theoretically, she could have 5 title belts right now. So she's got all the belts. But I doubt it. She probably only held like 2 at once, at least 2 at once. We know this. Okay, so not much more titles in 2010, but 2011 is when she starts getting around the Europe a little bit. She really gets into her own here, like as far as like winning belts. She wins the German Stampede Women's title. She wins back the HEW Women's title. She became the first ever Pro Wrestling Eve champion. And then she wins. I don't know what the company was. She wins the SCW Women's title. She wins the WAWW Hardcore title. So all these by belts she won in the one calendar year, And I bet she held at least 2 or 3 of these at once, but like it's kind of hard to tell when she lost them. The Wikipedia was pretty vague with it, and I couldn't find any more specific information. But also at this time, she would either lose or vacate all these titles when she went to the WWE. So in 2012, she was in NXT. And that's a real impressive list of titles. I mean, good Lord. I mean, anyone would just have just win all these titles in like 10 years, much less 3, and before she's 20 years old. Good Lord. Paige, Britney, Saraya. Good for you. All right, so I'm going to go to the story of the Knight Dynasty, the on-again, off-again rivalry, and how it culminated in a Britney Knight versus Saraya Knight match at the end of 2011. So this is just in 2011 alone. Okay, so they started, if you go back to 2010 a little bit, they won the PWF latest tag belts. They would drop those in 2011. They would try to regain them a couple times and fail. And then you would see Saraya start to lose her titles. And you would see Britney start to lose her titles. And I think at some point Saraya thinks that Britney is a weak link in our team. So even though the match that they had in 2011 in February was a bit hazy, the later down in the middle at the end of 2011 was the match I think that people would remember most. So Britney and Saraya Knight would come to the U.S. to compete in the Shimmer Women Athletics, and they would team up, as well as they would team up in Europe as well, and they would win tag belts and they would drop tag belts, and then eventually they had a falling out late in the year over Britney losing those matches I told you about. So she's probably losing her titles and maybe some matches in Shimmer, and Saraya would on kayfabe obviously. And she would disown Britney, and then she would humiliate her by slapping her in the in the middle of the ring in front of a crowd, and that led to what would be a no DQ match between at this show called Volume 44. So the rivalry would culminate at a show for Shimmer Women Athletics at a show called Volume 44, and they would have a no DQ match. And it was Britney's final match in Shimmer, and Britney would win the match. Saraya, as a matter of fact, would go on and win the Shimmer Women's title. So hey, pretty good stuff here. Interesting story. I mean, I hope I was clear enough about it. Because there's a lot of jumping around here. Because, like I said, Britney was winning belts in Europe, and then she's having a story with her mom in the United States and in Europe, I guess. So it's a little hard to keep track of. But like I said, it's a very interesting story. Apparently Paige. I guess. Apparently Britney Knight got over enough that Saraya J. Bevis was able to go to America and become Paige. And the rest, as you know, is history. As you've probably seen their matches on NXT and the Raw roster. A sip of whiskey right here. Got to keep the throat dry, or the mouth moist, right? Moist. And so I'm going to end this review right here. And interesting story. I'm not trying to say that Chris picked a bad match, but I think the better match would have been the no DQ match. But this match was still fun to see. 19-year-old Paige doing her thing, and her mom is helping her out. It's a pretty good family story. The movie does. I don't know if the Paige movie, or whatever you want to call it, does it justice. Because they hardly ever do, but it's still a good watch anyway. They don't mention any of the family dysfunction in the kayfabe wise, but yeah, this match was fun. I suggest go watch it and try to find that no DQ match too if you're interested. All right, I'm gonna close this one out. I'll be back tomorrow with another one. Have a good one.